Hello everyone, welcome back. We had a little time in between videos. I harvested this field, I harvested the sugar cane, I fed the animals. You can see now that we're starting to have rather a lot of cows. Our little cow trench is almost full of cows already. I think I'll feed them one more time. Not sure. If it gets too full, they start suffocating. But there's still a few babies in there. When they grow up, it's going to get even more full. So I might stop feeding them there. And then when they get all to become adults, then we will slaughter some of them to get meat and leather, which are important. Meat is much better food than bread. It will help keep us alive. And the leather is very useful a little bit later on. Not nearly so many of the sheep or the chickens, but they got started later. They'll catch up soon. There's a few things I wanted to show you before we started working on that nether portal. There are some things that I noticed. You may have noticed that I set up these fences, and I set them up like this initially. But there's a problem with setting them up like this, where the fence is coming out of the side of the cliff you're trying to protect, or whatever, trying to fence in, and then setting another fence directly on top of it. And the problem is this: you can see as I walk up to it, my character hops up on top of the little fence block, and then it will continue to hop up again to the next fence block. Whereas if I place wooden planks underneath it, it doesn't do that. Even if I try to jump, I can't get up over the fence. So that basically defeats the purpose of having a fence. So I put those slabs everywhere. And it's about dark, but I also was fooling around in a different game, and I saw a trick that I thought was pretty interesting that I thought I would share with you. And that is a way of keeping these melon plants from getting trampled, or pumpkin plants if in the game you're playing in you haven't found melons yet. You'll pretty much only find them in jungles. I think you can only find them in jungles, but anyway, it's dark, so we're going to sleep. I'll show you how neat that is once we get up. So you can see here, I can now no longer even walk onto those farm plots. And I am relatively certain that these plants don't need light coming directly down on them for them to produce. They'll just keep producing. I haven't experimented too much with that yet, but that's something I just figured out the other day. I'm like, oh, this is an interesting little idea. I should share that. So here we are. It's not super neat, but I'm actually out of dirt. I would like to put another block there, and maybe a couple of blocks there to close it off, but this will do the job. This will keep anything from wandering onto those blocks pretty much. Some chickens could get under there, but they're not going to hurt anything, assuming they get out of their pen. Alright, so that was a couple of tricks. There's a trick that I have been working on with these sugarcane fields. I've been practicing, and when I talked about sugarcane and showed you harvesting it, I mentioned that I prefer to walk down the lanes while I harvest, and it guarantees that you don't miss any. These few that you see that are a little bit taller than the rest, there aren't very many, but a few of those were ones that I missed when I ran through. I've been practicing and now I don't miss nearly so many, and it is much faster to harvest while running. You even pick up most of the sugar cane before it hits the ground when you do it that way. But it is pretty hectic trying to not miss any. So it takes practice. So when you're starting out, just go ahead and walk down those lanes. Later on, when it's fully mature, I might show you the difference one more time. Now that I've practiced a little bit and I'm a little bit better at it. I went down to the mine. I didn't find any lava, but we do have, down over here, as you may recall, we do have some lava over here. Oh, look at that. That's a zombie villager. That could be quite useful and helpful for us to have. I think I might try and lure him up here and trap him. In order to do that, we're going to need to dig out a place for him to be. Let's see, where should we put him? If we don't move too far away, he shouldn't despawn. If we don't move directly over that lava, he shouldn't accidentally get himself killed, hopefully. Let's put him over here. Let's get out our shovel and dig a little place for him to live. Let's start it right about here. Feels good. Then again, I was thinking about extending those lines to make the sugar cane farms neater, so I'm going to want 2 spaces there for that. We can put, that makes about here the best spot probably. But that is pretty much right on top of our mine shaft, and we don't want that. So we'll just go a little bit further back. We'll go past this lane here. There could be a lane of sugarcane there, and we'll want at least 2 past that, so we'll start here. Dig a little trench for him here, and then we'll close it off. Hopefully we can get him in there without too much trouble. This might be really difficult. It's not normally how I do it. I need a couple more dirt blocks. One there, and one there, and that will keep him stuck in there, if we can get him in there in the first place. That'll be the real trick. It'll be like doing what we do with those animals, except this one's trying to kill us. I think the trench needs to be longer. So let's do that. This tree is in our way. This tree is going to be in our way. So we're going to have to get it out of the way. Actually, that might be good. Break this vine a few blocks further up. All right. Let's see if we can get him up here and into that hole. This could be tricky. What we're going to do is we're going to lure him into the hole. And then we're going to run across, jump up here, pop a block down, just as we jump out. And hopefully that keeps him in. I'd like a little more wiggle room than that, I think. Let's just go one more. Clear off these vines so that he doesn't doesn't get the opportunity to climb out if something weird happens before we get him here. Okay. Let's clear that off a couple blocks higher. Those can grow back. Let's give ourselves just a little more room. This is going to be the most dangerous thing we've done so far. Probably. I mean, other than falling to our death, it's one way or another, which can happen anytime. Alright, we're going to make sure our hunger's topped off. Fully saturated with bread. And in fact, I think we're going to make just a few more loaves. So we have plenty of food. Alright, I think we're ready to go. Hopefully he's still there and ready for us. And we need to put dirt down there so that we can seal that off really quick. Let's hope he's still down there. We let him hang out down here for a while. He might not still be here. I don't see him anymore. Looks like he ran off. And there's an archer. Be careful, we're going to get burned. There's that fire aspect I was talking about before. And that fire just keeps burning him. Fire's what did him in eventually. Well, that's a mild disappointment. Oh, nice, iron. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's put another one. No, I don't really like that. Whoa, there's a zombie. That one's carrying a shovel. Be really careful around this lava. In fact, I think I might wall that off so we don't accidentally get ourselves killed. It'll still provide almost as much light like that, and we won't accidentally get ourselves burned. Now we can't get in there. There's only one lava block there, so that's not going to help us build our nether portal the way we would like. Torch isn't exactly where I want it, but it'll do, I think. In the interest of time, I will not... Yes, I will. Who am I kidding? I'm going to fix it. Alright, now that's all lit. Once we're done with this, we should... Hello. Once we're done with this, dangerous in here. Whew, it's close. Alright, we need to get that spot lit up. What a disappointment missing out on that zombie villager. As you can see, after fighting just 3 mobs, our gold sword is starting to look pretty bad. Gold equipment, in addition to not being as effective, also is not very durable. Alright. Lay down a couple more torches here. Try to keep an eye on our light levels. Looks pretty good. Shouldn't have any more monsters spawning through there. Just go to the end of this passageway and light it up. Look at all the monsters. You can even hear all the monsters. Looks like this goes on for quite a while. We need to be careful. There could be creepers in here. We need to get out of here. Getting too dangerous in here. Okay, now we can turn around and fight those zombies. And that's the reason I don't like using fire aspect. So once you've lit a mob on fire, it can light you on fire. Now we're in a health crisis. We've only got 2 hearts. And we've still got zombies coming after us. So that is why I don't put fire aspect on my melee weapons. I'll go ahead and put them on bows, but that's it. Dang it, he let me up again. I hope we don't die here. Yep, we're dead. Dang it. Well, that's how hardcore goes. It makes the game more exciting, but when you die, you're done. So, moral of the story, caves are dangerous, and setting your enemies on fire is dangerous. So what I'm going to probably do next is start another game and get it to about where we're at. Now where we're at is we have a little diamond, not enough to make a full suit of armor, but enough to make some tools. And we have a livestock setup, and we have a farming setup. We're still pretty early in the game. But what I'll do is I'll get another game set up roughly the same way this one is. If I wanted to, I could grab the world seed and we could play in exactly the same world, but I prefer not to do that. I think half the fun is exploring the game, exploring the world. So normally when you start a new game, you get a completely random world. At least as random as computers can do. There is a file that you can go into and get the number that the world uses, that the game engine uses to generate the world. But I'm not going to do that. I shouldn't even start talking about that. It's not really within the scope of this series of videos. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'll get another game set up, we'll get farming going, we'll get livestock going, we'll get a few other basic things set up, and when that's ready, I'll take another video. It's going to take a while. I hope you've enjoyed this series of videos so far, but even getting game over is, well, it's part of playing hardcore. Sometimes you die, sometimes you lose everything you've built. And it changes the way you play the game. You try to be more careful, you try to make sure that your health is always full. You don't spend a lot of time doing extravagant building projects because something might happen like this and you might have to do it all over again. It creates a play style that I find more interesting than just knowing that you can just try again as soon as you die. This is the first time I've died in a hardcore game in many weeks, because I'm a lot more careful when I play now, when I do hardcore. But you've seen the early game setup. I'll look forward to seeing you all in the next video when we have a different world where things look different, but we can still do roughly the same sort of setup. I'm excited to go and try something new. I hope you're all excited to see something new when the next video starts. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one, and we'll see you again next time.